When it comes to the business of being an indie author, self-publishing your work, so many things cost money. So it's great when you can find something to promote your books that are absolutely free. Hello, writers in training. I'm Shannon, writing under the pen name S.C. Houston and author of Blood of the Lily. And welcome to my channel where I show writers like you how to develop your writing skills and self-publish your work. Today, I'm going to spill the beans on 7 free book promotions that worked and 2 that didn't, one of which is my fault. When I say worked, I mean that I applied for the book promotions and I was accepted, which is an accomplishment by itself as there are some you never hear back from. Whether or not these promotions resulted in actual sales of my books is hard to measure, as it's hard to measure even the effectiveness of paid promotions, as I discuss in my video 7 book marketing strategies and promotions in the first week of my book release. Also, at the end of this video, I'll tell you about 2 promising promotions I applied for where I received a response, but I may not ever get the book promotion that I'm hoping for. I will provide all links to available book promotions in the description box below. Number 1, Speculative Fiction Showcase. Speculative Fiction Showcase is a blog about all things indie, science fiction, fantasy, and horror. The blog includes interviews with and guest posts by speculative fiction writers and keeps current on news from the SFF world and the latest speculative fiction releases. For writers of mysteries, crime fiction, suspense, or thrillers, they have a sister site, the Indie Crime Scene. Back in July, I applied for an author interview and to have my new release be featured on the blog, both coinciding with the first week that my debut novel launched. After being accepted, I worked with Cora Butler and Jessica Rydell through email for several weeks, and both of them were so helpful and kind. I highly recommend their website and their services. Number 2, Fairytale Book Fair with Maria. Maria is an author of fantasy and paranormal books. I came into contact with her through a Facebook group. Honestly, I cannot recall the one where she made a post for anyone to jump onto the roster with a full lineup of books based on fairy tales. This book fair ran during my debut novel's pre-order period, and I had 3 sales. But it was during a crossover with another book fair that I paid for, so I don't know if I can tie those sales to this book fair. In a recent conversation with Maria, she mentioned running the book fair had been exhausting, and unless she had help in the future, she probably wouldn't run another one. While this particular book promotion is one that can't be done again, it helps to join active Facebook groups in your genres and categories to find free promotions like this one. You'll never know what resources you'll find perusing Facebook, which leads me to number 3. Number 3, Author Interview Podcast with Marian Andrew. From one of the numerous Facebook groups I continually check, I came across a call for any indie authors who wanted to be interviewed for a new podcast. Marian Andrew is a contemporary romance author who looks for indie authors to pre-record an author interview with her. She released my recorded author interview during the first week of my book's launch. Indie authors can still book a session with her by contacting her through her website. Number 4, YouTube live author interview with Barrett Laurie. Don't let me fool you into thinking I have it all figured out and that I know what I'm doing. When I signed up for Barrett's live author interview, this one thought floating in my head was that the interview would introduce me to more members of the authortube community. You see, at this point, I was still new to YouTube, and I had decided that YouTube was not really a platform to sell my book. The videos I had been making were all about helping writers, and when I really sat back and thought about my channel, I realized that my readers would not all also be writers. I refocused my energy more into just sharing knowledge at that point. So coming onto Barrett's channel was a way for me to integrate into the authortube community because honestly, I really wanted to feel the camaraderie with others who are passionate about writing. For sure, I thought I might pick up a few channel subscribers, but I was blown away by the support shown during my interview. That was one of my best sales days during my 2 weeks of promotions for when my book launched. What I learned was 1, you need some Barrett Laurie in your life, and 2, author interviews can be really beneficial. No, but seriously, this was an opportunity that I was too dense to realize at first was a great free book promotion. From what I understand, Barrett Laurie is scaling back on his live author interviews, but there's no harm in reaching out to him. Also look out for other authortubers who feature interviews with authors, like Books by Adrian. Number 5, Voracious Readers Only. Voracious Readers Only is dedicated to helping readers discover new authors and to help authors find readers who will love their work, write reviews, and help them build word of mouth. Generally, this is a paid service, but to start and test the service, you can sign up for their introductory 20-book giveaway, which is only open for 1 day, and they find the readers for you. There are 3 ways for your ARC copy to make it to the readers. The most popular, and the one I chose, was to have all requests forwarded to me by email. The readers are also told that by requesting an ARC, they agree to be signed up on the author's newsletter. I signed up on the 2nd of September for the free giveaway, and I was given the date of 17 November. The interested readers' emails with their first and last names were forwarded to me over a 2-day period. I set up a separate campaign with my newsletter provider where I drafted a welcome email and then gave them the direct download link to my book on Story Origin. Whether or not these readers end up leaving reviews remains to be seen, as I only had 19 people ask for the ARC, of which only 16 even opened the welcome email. However, for a price of free, I think it was worth the time to gain prospective readers and newsletter subscribers. Number 6, Indies Unlimited. This is a unique site that acts as a blog that allows authors to leave weekly comments in the form of book promotions. They have Thrifty Thursday, where you can promote your free or 99-cent book, and Kindle Unlimited Fridays, which is a separate page of the blog where you can promote your book if it's in KU. You have to follow the instructions on how to comment, and it's moderated, so your book promotion doesn't show up unless it meets the requirements. This is also something you have to come back to redo on a weekly basis, so it takes a bit of work. To be honest, I totally forgot to come back to this website during the first 2 weeks of my debut launch when my book was only 99 cents. So I missed out on Thrifty Thursday. However, I have remembered it now, and since it's in KU, I've listed my book on the Kindle Unlimited Fridays page. The day after my post was accepted, I had Kindle page reads for the first time in 5 days. It could have been a coincidence, but I'll take it. Number 7, BookAngel. This is one I found out about recently. Like Indies Unlimited, if you have a free or discounted promotion coming up, you can submit your title for a listing on their site. I have made the decision that I will use my 5 free days for the Amazon KU's book promotion for the first 5 days of my second book's release, which will run 3 to 7 January. I filled out the form on BookAngel's site. Under one of the options, I could choose display in upcoming books or only display on offer days. I don't know if that means I need to do the form again when my book is actually free in January, but I decided to go with the first option. Within 15 minutes of submitting the form, my book was already on display on the website. I don't know whether this will result in any sales or free downloads during the promotion days, but it is just one more way to get my book in front of possible readers and all free of charge. Now for the 2 that I applied for, that didn't work. The first is the Eclectic Review, a book review blogging website. On July 7th, I signed up for a book review. There was a note on the website that the blogger, Sharon, was 3 months behind. I didn't receive any response to my submission. At the end of October, nearly 4 months later, I reached out to the blogger again. I still haven't received a response. At this point, I'm crossing this one off my list of sites to use. The second is This Is Writing, a website where they do free book reviews and post novel excerpts, among other promotions. Again, I signed up by crafting an email for the novel excerpt following the instructions on the website. At least I thought I had. I know at the time I was doing this, I had a million other things I wanted to do with very little time, so I failed to scroll down to the bottom of the page, past the other types of promotions. If I had, I would have seen that they wanted everything sent in a separate file attached to the email. Instead, I put everything into the body of the email, which I sent out on the 29th of September. I hadn't heard anything back from the site organizer, so I went back to the website and realized my error. By then it was too late, as they will only accept novel excerpts for upcoming releases prior to book publication dates, and my book was now available. The lesson? Even if you're trying to juggle multiple things at one time in your marketing plan, it helps to know all the rules. Last, let's look at 2 promising promotions I applied for. The first is another blog site, Geeky Galaxy, where I applied for a book review on September 2nd. My book met the blogger's preferred genres, so I thought it was worth a shot. I received a reply the very next day, in which the blogger Laurie said she was intrigued by my book. She mentioned that she was busy as she was a judge for the Book Blogger's Novel of the Year Awards, but planned to get around to my book in the coming months. The Book Blogger's Novel of the Year Awards judging is still ongoing, but they are in their final 2 weeks, so fingers crossed that I am that much closer to seeing the book promotion work out. The second promising promotion is Publishers Weekly Book Live, a site aimed at indie authors that allows self-publishers to submit their books to Publishers Weekly for review consideration for free. Only a small percentage of books submitted will be reviewed, as they receive over 1,000 books a month from self-and-trade publishers. I submitted a request on October 31st and received an immediate reply that my project was received and that the review's consideration process can take between 6 and 12 weeks. During that time, I will be emailed occasional status updates. Although this may be a long shot for me to get, I find it promising in that at least there's some communication compared to others that I apply for with no reply. Not even one to say that my request was received. So fingers crossed again for this promotion. I have many more free book promotions that I will be applying to in the coming weeks, as I have a list of over 300 sites to try. When I have several more done with results, I'll make a future video covering those as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and happy writing!